round, we cast our spotlight on the efforts of Governor Darius Ishaku of Taraba State, whose move now is that no child should be robbed of the love and care of parents. Well, after visiting the camp where some rescued, trafficked and abandoned children are being catered for by the state government, Governor Ishaku says he will adopt more than 80 of those children after leaving office, and he said this is to ensure that their training is sustained after the expiration of his administration. Let's share the report with you as filed by TVC News Owolabi Adenusi.
Some parents are now hiding under the country's economic situation to sell off their children to willing buyers. In Taraba, child trafficking has become very lucrative and many underage children have been sold. These children were sold off by their parents and guardians but were later rescued by the state government.
They are trafficked babies, so we don't know their details. Very, very few of them will know their parents, very, very few. And even them, they are not ready to come and own up because these babies are actually sold out.
Governor Darius Ishaku, whose administration is strongly against child trafficking, visited the camp where they are being taken care of by the State Ministry of Women Affairs. He explained that the unscheduled visit was to ascertain reports at his disposal that they were not being properly fed. He has plans to adopt the children in order to ensure their proper training continues after the expiration of his tenure.
The faith, by the grace of God, will rest on me. That's what I want to do, because I don't want to leave and leave them. So their faith, I will transfer it to myself, because I don't know what the next administration, the next person may not have the same thinking that I have. And so if I leave them here, their faith will be blank. And so their fate will be in my hands. I will live with them.
The chairman of Mali local government recently told TVC News that over 80 children from his domain were rescued while on transit to an unknown destination.
The first challenges I had was the kidnapping of 33 children. Just a kind of child trafficking. I was able to intervene, so I retrieved them. They are now under the care of the state government, that is under the governor of the Taraba state is taking care of them there in Jalingo.
The Commissioner of Police has warned child traffickers to desist or face the full wrath of law.
We are seizing this opportunity to reiterate that it is time to desist from child trafficking. Those who are engaging in this vice, the long arms of the law will soon catch up with them.
These children are among the low-key ones. The whereabouts of thousands like them have been sold both within and outside the country remain unknown.
Right, so Yomi, so what do you make of this development in Taraba State? This is just 80. This is just 80. There probably would be much more than that the government has still not been able to lay their hands on.
Yes, indeed. You know that human trafficking in general is one of the biggest illicit trades that we have in the world. And child trafficking is beginning to, pick up again after receiving some kind of respite in the late 90s into 2000s. And it's now quite a big business across the West African region. So you can there are some homes that have children as young as 10, 11 years old from Togo. You don't know where they came from, but they're living in your house and they're serving. That's actually modern day slavery. And all of that is going on, and now Nigerian children are now obviously involved in this situation as well. It's quite disheartening, but what the governor is doing is, I think he's leading by example as well, so that other people who are also well-to-do would also be able to say, you know what, I can take up 10 children, I can take up 5 children and all of that. But there already, right now, there's a child rights law in place in the country, in which more than 30 states have already subscribed to that law. I think those laws need to be enforced across board so that people who are caught trafficking children on the one hand should be prosecuted, and then also parents that are involved in this, because there are parents now who are selling their children out of poverty. You see one man who has 15 children, 20 children, and he's a poor man. So you find that kind of situation, and it's not, this is a situation that you have brought on yourself, but now you're now doing it on purpose by selling your children, you know, to unknown individuals, and they would likely be trafficked to other African countries or even abroad for labor on farms, for labor in coal mines, in gold mines, and places like that. That's what they use these children for. In Lagos right now, there are over 100,000 children that have been trafficked to Lagos, that are begging on the streets. Children as young as 4, 5 years old, you would see them when you park in traffic. They're not even that tall to be able to clean your window, but they're stretching their hands and cleaning your window for money. A 5-year-old boy. You know, so what kind of future do you expect that kind of child to have? I know Governor Sanwo-Olu is trying to deal with that already, but you still have influx of children still coming into Lagos almost on a daily basis. Children that have been trafficked. Their parents are somewhere in the north, but they hand them over to maybe a blind man to be walking around with them, trying to see how they can get money from the public. So it's actually a big problem that is going on in our country right now, and I think all the state governments really need to sit up and start looking at the children, because these children have, you know, they're actually helpless as young as they are. There's nothing that they can do.
Absolutely. And they're vulnerable. Anyhow you want to look at this BKO, because there's so many issues, there's so many branches of this unwholesome practice that we are seeing established if we don't do something drastic to stop this.
Yes, I think even we need to look at our laws again and prescribe tough punishment for some of the stubborn crimes. I describe them as stubborn crimes because our people are not prepared to give up such crimes. So we need to descend heavily on people arrested for or found culpable of child trafficking. If you go to Burkina Faso, I've been told that there are so many Nigerians who have literally been sold into slavery, and they have no way of returning home. Some of them, largely women, are now being used as prostitutes, not because it pleases them to be prostitute, but because the people who trafficked them to that country felt that, look, they needed to make money off them. The same thing Mali. In some of the dangerous parts of Mali where warlords have carved fiefdoms for themselves, there are many Nigerians who have been trafficked to that country, who are being used for prostitution. And you dare not even revolt against your master. You could be killed. So you can, just looking at those children, so young, you ask yourself, why should, I mean, look at this one. Look at that one beside the governor. See how young she is. You know, the governor was carrying one child. Mm-hmm. There was another one on the governor's right. Extremely small kid. I mean, their future already is in jeopardy, but I'm happy for one thing. This governor knows that once he's gone, his successor may not have any plan for these ones, and he's saying, look, that he's going to adopt them and make these children his own. But how do we stop this thing? We've got to move quickly and ensure that we put an end to child trafficking in this modern age.